The stage is set for Thailand to hold a general election in May after the dissolution of parliament by government decree. Current Prime Minister Prayuth Chan-ocha launched the move seeking to extend his time in office. The election pits him and the military-backed establishment against an opposition bloc helmed by billionaire populist and two-time former Prime Minister Thaksin Shinawatra. His daughter, Paetongtarn Shinawatra, is the leading candidate for Prime Minister. Parties led and backed by Thaksin have won the most seats in every election since 2001, but have been toppled from power by military coups and court rulings. And joining us for more on this is Thitinan Pongsudhirak, Professor of Political Science at Chulalongkorn University in Bangkok. Mr. Pongsudhirak, why has Prime Minister Prayuth Chan-ocha decided to seek new elections now?
Well, basically, the lower house parliamentary term of 4 years has expired this week, so he's forced to call a new election. It's been delayed for some weeks and months because he was earlier going to call an early election, but now the clock has run out and we have an election coming up on May 14th.
Does Prime Minister Prayuth Chan-ocha believe that the current political climate might be mildly favorable to him?
I don't think that he believes that the environment is favorable to him, because he would have called an earlier election had he thought so. At the same time, if you look at the trends in Bangkok, in Thailand, where I am now, you look at the various political parties, the momentum, the lack of performance from the government, and General Prayuth's own lack of popularity, you can see that the momentum is not with him. I think that the election prospects are not looking good for him and his United Thai Nation Party, and as well as the other coalition government parties. So I think this election coming up is a very consequential election, by the way, for your audiences. This is the most important election Thailand will have in the last 2 decades, not just this year. It will decide the future of Thai politics and Thailand's economic prospects and so on. And now the odds, I think, are not with the government, but with the opposition parties.
Speaking of the opposition parties, he's also facing a challenge from the billionaire Shinawatra family. How much popular support do they have?
You know, it's remarkable. I mean, I've been an early critic of the Shinawatra family from two decades ago, 20 years ago. But time and again, this party has been dissolved twice. This is Pheu Thai, the third vehicle now, and is going to win the election again based on all the surveys and polls. So there's something going on here in Thailand. How come this party that was ousted by a military coup twice in 2006 and 2014, dissolved twice by the judiciary, is still going to win this election? It says that Thailand's electorate is changing. They want the policies that this party has perpetuated and promulgated. So this means basically that the popular voices, majority of the electorate, they want something else. They want a different kind of future that the conservative forces, the military, the monarchy have been putting up for them.
How much control does the military have over the outcome of this election?
Considerable. I mean, it had decisive control before. After the military coup in 2014, we had a military government for 5 years. And during that time, the military came up with its own kind of constitution to give itself 1/3 control of parliament. But nevertheless, it was able to form a coalition government in 2019, the last election. But this time, despite stacking the rules, despite having been in power for 9 years, is still on course to lose the election. But this is where I think things will get tense and confrontational. The military is not going to go away quietly. There's been a number of coups in Thailand, and it's not out of the imagination that the military could act in the same way again to keep power, along with the conservative forces in Thailand. We've seen the judicial coups already, judicial dissolutions of parties, military coups. So it's not straightforward election in Thailand. I mean, the conservative forces led by the military, they will do all they can to maintain power, to keep power to themselves.
And what are the main issues that are likely to dominate this election campaign?
Well, Thailand, unlike a lot of other countries, you know, there are different fault lines, different issues that divide the electorate. The basic issue is what kind of political order, political framework should this country have? What kind of role should the military have? What kind of role should the monarchy have within the constitution? and how the majority of the electorate should be able to choose the will of the people, should be able to choose the future of the country. So this is a main, I think, fundamental premise in this election. But there are other issues about welfare policies, about income redistribution, about growth strategy, development projects, and so on. But overall, it's about what kind of the political framework that Thailand should have with the military, the monarchy, bureaucracy, and the will of the people, political parties, democratic institutions. Somehow democratic institutions have to prevail and supersede the traditional institutions. Otherwise, Thai people will not be happy, as we've seen in recent years of protests and demonstrations.
We'll leave it there for the time being. Thank you so much for joining us today. Thitinan Pongsudhirak from Chulalongkorn University in Bangkok. Thank you, sir.